Welcome back to Diary of a Speed Reader. Today's book is The Jewels of Happiness by Sri Chinmoy, and I'm giving it 4 stars. You know, all week long we've been talking about mindfulness, meditation, transcendence, wisdom, and this book reminds us of just how hard it is to understand concepts that would seem simple and words that we would take for granted. In The Jewels of Happiness, Sri Chinmoy really takes time to define simple terms that are actually extraordinarily complex and easy to get wrong. There are a lot of takeaways I highlighted like crazy in this book, but I'm going to try to break it down into 3 things. But before we get into it, as a lot of you know, I'm shifting from Instagram to YouTube, and I would be so thankful if you would subscribe to my YouTube. If you're watching on Instagram, the link is in my bio, or you can just type in Diary of a Speed Reader. If you're watching on YouTube, please just hit the subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me. Now let's get into what's so fascinating about this book. Now, the first thing has to do with all of the problems that derive from expectation, how expectation can ruin our ability to achieve joy and happiness, and how it actually can cause us angst. It can be a problem for love. It can be a problem for hope. And it's intriguing. He kind of says in this one sentence that when we expect from the outside world, we have to understand that the outside world doesn't understand what we mean in our expectations. So to do so sets us up for failure. Instead, he introduces a concept of divine love and divine hope, and all that stuff comes from the inside. That's why we care about things like meditation and prayer. It allows us connect to source and to the divine. It's kind of quite beautiful. The second thing has to do with determination and competition, and Chinmoy introduces a way to do these things that are so necessary to us in our journey and heading in the direction that we wish to. He explains how to do these in a non-aggressive way. With respect to determination, he describes the way that a child behaves when they're trying to learn to walk. They're not trying to force the world to allow them to walk. They simply keep at it every day. We get up, we do it. We get up, we do it. As relates to competition, he introduces an idea of progress instead. Today I did X, tomorrow I'm going to do X, and maybe just get a little bit farther along in the journey. This is relative to how so many people see competition, which is antagonistic, against someone else, fighting someone else. That's not the way to peace and tranquility. The third thing I found so intriguing was the way he described humility. And it's not an easy word to define once you start to think about it. He describes it as being similar to Mother Nature. Mother Nature presents herself. She's strong. A blade of grass presents itself. It's quite a remarkable thing. But they don't try to force themselves on other people, nor do they try to make themselves known and force their way into awareness. They come at the world with confidence, with presentation, but not with force. Now, while I think the concepts in the book transcend every religion and belief system, I do find it fascinating that the way the Buddhists go about describing these concepts uses examples in nature mostly rather than examples in parables and stories. That also has been a big learning lesson for me all week as I've been reading these works that I'm not accustomed to. Speed reading stats, this book is 134 pages. It took me 31 minutes to read it, and in reviewing for this video, I spent quite a lot of time. It's quite deep. You can really break this into small pieces. I highly recommend this book. Thank you to the New York Public Library for having so many books on e-reader during this period of quarantine. It's been amazing. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting. If you'd like to learn more about speed reading, feel free to post in my comments, and I will see you tomorrow.